All right. Father Moo on the microphone. Dropping that Nord Micro Modular podcast on you. Nord Micro Modular. Yeah, that's a cool way to say it. Yeah, awesome. Great. Great job, everybody. Well, you heard the best joke we're going to do all show, folks. Just kidding. Well, I just want to say what's up. And I'm back here doing it again. I like doing the really long streams now. This week I streamed for 49 hours on Twitch. Of course, I'm not twiddling knobs the whole time. I got a patch set up with some devices making their own little weird generative stochastic whatever. Just podular casting, man. And yeah, it's fun. I don't know why I like it so much. I set it up and I go to work and then I open up a window of Twitch in my browser at work like I'm a nervous parent watching their baby on the baby cam or something. And my baby's first words were beep, zero, blorp, blorgan, blorgan, something like that. Underwater robot farts, you know how it is. Anyway, I came back today because I wanted to talk into the mic a bit because I like podular casting and makes me feel good. It gives me the now feeling, yeah. So today we're going to, as usual, make a patch from the scratch, but we are not doing dub today. There will be more. I promise you there'll be more. In fact, I got an idea in my head for the next dub patch already, but today we're doing something else. So let's get it started. Here we go. So, as I just build the most basic parts of the interface, I would just like to talk about today's patch. Today we're going to do a sort of tribute patch to a musician who I think is very good. His name is Richard Chartier. Or I guess it could be Richard Chartier, but I don't think that it is. So, he was an extremely minimalist musician. Actually, he still is. I used to listen to him about 25 years ago because he made an album with no audible sounds. How did he do that? He would generate a really, really high-pitched tone outside of the range of human hearing. And then he would generate another one that was very close to it but not quite in tune with it. And they would, you know how when you're tuning a guitar, it's kind of like a wobbly kind of sound, like a chorus pedal? I think that's called beating or maybe heterodyning. But whatever it was, the result of those two waves playing together created a wave that was audible in the human spectrum. So you could still hear something on that album, but it wasn't generated in the tonal spectrum, if that makes sense. I think that's also the principle behind the theremin, although I'd have to look that one up again to be sure. So anyway, he does this really minimal stuff. It's very dry. It's very like what people used to call pure tones. And it reminds me of the music of Pansonic, but Pansonic is more rhythmic and dubby, and at least you can like hear it, whereas his stuff is like the quietest music I've ever heard, which I guess is why they call it microsound. So I'm going to build a patch today made of a bunch of little instruments that kind of sound like him, I sure hope, and in the same aesthetic anyway. But I'm also going to set it up so that it's generative and it's an automatic Richard Chartier playing machine, if that makes sense. So yeah, you're going to hear some sine waves, you're going to hear some white noise, and some... To be honest, people are going to call this music very boring. And that's okay. He said, like, when he was a kid, he liked to put his ear up to the fridge and listen to, like, the fridge humming. So that's the kind of sounds we are going to be making today. So, yeah. So here's our first little Richard Chartier tone. I got a sine wave, and I got an amp, an envelope, and that's going to be the whole signal chain, if you can believe that, for this first one. It seems very boring. It is pretty boring. But we'll change it up over time and add some interesting stuff. So I need something to trigger that envelope. The easiest way to do that Oh, I think I got the wrong one. Is a random pulse generator. There he is. So he's always just off or on. So again, we'll turn the density down so the ons are longer and then the offs are longer. So he's just going to sort of intermittently turn on. And we should be able to hear it now if the light is green. Although I'm not getting anything. There it is. Just a little ping. So I want it to be like a longer decaying tone. That's good. It almost has like too much attack. Well, maybe not. Let's just try increasing it a very little bit. A little bit more than that. What Richard Chartier never wanted to do was play a sound that sounded like any conventional instrument. It wasn't him, but another guy in the same type of music once said the first thing he did when he got a keyboard was to erase all the presets so he wouldn't have like an organ sound or any kind of like noticeable sound, or any recognizable sound, I should say. He didn't. Okay, that's a bit much. I should also have started by saying this is definitely going to be a headphone day. If you are not listening on headphones, you're not going to hear half the sounds we make today, so keep that in mind. Richard Chartier also said when he was a kid he had really good hearing and he liked to go to the hearing test on hearing test day. I think I'm going to try this here again. Because you would hear tones like this, like really quiet, high-pitched sine wave tones. And it's an interesting thing to be influenced by if you think about it. Because those people aren't consciously trying to make music, right? Okay, anyway, we got a sound going. Let's make a few more. Unfortunately for me, my signal is a bit hissy today, as it always is, because I have too much gear on this little table, and I think they interfere with each other. But my second sound is going to be a noise-based sound. And it's too boring to do exactly what I just did, but with noise. So I think I'm going to throw in not a phaser. He would never use a phaser. But a digitizer might work. So this is going to make very lo-fi, noisy noise, I guess. So let's hook this up. Right there. This into here. Oops. I missed again. And this one into here. This is good, but it's happening too often, so I think we're going to replace that random pulse generator anyway with a more interesting option of sequencing later. But let's just do it for now so we hear what we can hear. Damn, I did the wrong one again. Where are you, little buddy? Random pulse generator. There it is. Turn this one down too. And trigger the envelope. Okay, that was annoying. So he's also going to be very quiet in the mix. I guess if it's too quiet, all you're going to hear is my stupid sound card hissing at you, so let's see if I can fix that. Now, the hiss is really from my mic, so there isn't much I can do about it. But let's try dragging this out a bit. There it is. It's not quite the sound I was going for, though. That's better. Let's try going from white noise to colored noise. I like that better. And it's too long now, at least for my taste, so I'm going to... Maybe 2 seconds is more like it. Okay, that's not helping. Mouse is being very uncooperative today. Let's try that. While I'm waiting for them to play, I think I'm just going to build my alternative sequencer plans here. So, event sequencer might be a good one. Let's make it a weird number of steps and put in some essentially random triggerings here. And then use those to trigger these two guys instead, so the sound is going to go away pretty soon. It doesn't really matter which does which. And then we're going to make a real weird clock for it. So how are we going to do that? Well, first we need a normal clock. We'll set him to something nice and slow. And we'll take a logic. We haven't seen this module in a while. Logic processor, that's our boy. So again, this is into the world of extremely simple computing, because logic pulses are just like ones and zeros. When they're on, they're 1, and when they're off, they're 0. So now this thing is giving us a steady beat, although a very slow one, and this one is giving us random pulses. So I'm going to allow the sound to come through this and trigger the sequencer. Well, let's try. Well, it's going now. So now it's on and. That means this guy has to be on in order to get this guy to work. See? You can watch the little, see he's stopped now, the little light on the sequencer at the left, and then he'll start up again. Eventually. Yeah. Okay, good. That's good. It's better than what we had. Because it's more unpredictable, I guess. Or I should just say less predictable. And just because I always have to do this, I'm just organizing these in my traditional way. It's not really logical. But whatever. Okay, we got those going. Let's make some more tones. We're not going to use the drum synth modules today because they make too typical of a sound to fit what we're going for. Maybe we can do some FM. Let's try that. So I'm going to make 2 of these OSC-Cs. I already used one up here. But this time I'm going to send one to the FM input of the other. That's frequency modulation amount, I guess. And turn this up. So really this guy's job is to modify this guy. We set them to different pitches, because if you set them to the same pitch in FM, you won't really get much FM. And let's use another. The envelopes are kind of boring, but that suits our needs and is cheap, so it's fine. We'll plug this into here, and this into here. And now we need another trigger source again. So how about, let's make what we just made before, but more complicated. So here is random pulse gen, and also, where was it? Clocked pattern generator. So whereas this one we programmed in the pattern and we mixed it with a random on-off pulse, here we're going to generate the pattern from a clock and mix that with an on-off pulse. So I'm setting it to essentially a random pattern and bank. I'm setting a weird number of steps again. I'm going to just drink the clock from the other clock. Oh, no, that's not a good idea. So I don't want them to be in time with each other. So I'm going to buy another clock generator and clock him with that. We're still only at 34%. This is a very low processing power sort of patch. And we need one more logic processor to do the math and add up the 2 bits to see if they're 1 or 0. So there's the output of one random pulse generator, and here's the output of the pattern generator. And it's still set to AND. I think I set this one to OR instead, which means it'll play the pattern that this guy gives us, but it'll also play random hits from this random pulse generator. And he's pulsing pretty fast, so he's going to interrupt that thing rather oddly. So at first, this is probably going to be very busy. There it is. Right. See? So let's turn his tempo down. This guy is still doing it too much, so we'll just reduce him. And that sound is very sort of metallic. That's what we were expecting from FM. Let's tweak the knobs a bit. And I'm going to increase the decay on it. Well, that's pretty annoying. That's actually kind of interesting. There's like a low note and a high note together. I'm going to mess with this a little bit, but not much. No, I liked it better before. Control Z. Also, because it's an FM'd note, there's no way it's going to be in tune with the other high-pitched note, right? FM notes are kind of, I think they're like gongs. Like, they don't really tune to the Western note scale. That FM note is very quiet, though, now. It's just too long. I'm kind of getting close to what I was going for. Although this is kind of busy for a Richard Chartier track. Let's try turning this tempo down more. I don't want them to both be at the same tempo, so I'm going to make one a little bit higher than 24 BPM. Oh, and the next, let's go on to one more note. The other type of note that I like of his, it's going to be our fourth sine wave now, is the bass note. So we're going to go with this same rather simplistic setup, sine wave into envelope. And this one is going to be way the heck down there. Well, maybe not the 0 range, but 1 seems good. So let's, just for now, I'm going to use this to trigger it. Although I might stick with it, you never know. So when he's on, I should get something. Maybe it's playing and it's just too low for me to hear. Oh, it's also very short. That's quite pleasant. This is tuned, what is it? Oh, that's why. This is an A and this is an F, which is a minor third below it. So it's a nice complement to the high-pitched note. Yeah, I like it. I wasn't expecting to tune that, but it just is like that. I'm going to move him. There he is, nice and big and fat. Maybe we should smoothen out his attack a bit and let him fade in. That might be interesting. Okay, play. Playing up, go. There it is. Okay, that wasn't quite the fade in I was hoping for. Oh, shoot. It mapped it again. Let's try even more. I don't also like fade in like a volume pedal on a guitar. Yeah, there you go. He's kind of like advancing on the sound. Now he's got a 2-second attack. That's a lot. Nice. It feels like almost warm. I really like that. Let's try it at F1 instead of F2. Drop it an octave down. I don't even know if we can hear it at this point. Wow. That is awesome. It's really low. Again, if you don't have your headphones on, you're not going to hear that note. It's just so big. Wait for it. Wow, that's powerful. Okay, I really like this. I think I want to mess with this third sound a little bit, so I'm going to bring it up. Damn it. So I can hear it. I don't really like it. I think it's because I tuned 2 of them, and white noise doesn't need to tune. But now I just don't like that sound. It's not complementing the other 2. Making a chord is the last thing I wanted to do with those 2 notes in my mental plan for this patch, but okay, I'm going to try something here. If I feed a smooth LFO to the input, you're going to hear it change like from part to part. So I want to send a random step generator. I want to set it to incredibly slow and send it to the sample rate. So if I'm lucky, it'll change the sound, but not during the same note, if you know what I mean. Every time it plays, it'll change. Oh, I know how to do it. So I take this gate. Oh, wait, okay, I got it. Let's delete this. What we need is a clocked random step generator, and the clock will come from here. So that means every time this note hits, this will send a new value. So it will never send more than one value to this input. So it'll always change only once when it hits. Hear that? Good. So we've left the digitizer bit reducer on, but it's at 11, so it's still pretty audible. But we're changing the sample rate every time it hits, so it's also giving more variety to the patch. I think it's good. The other 2 notes are more static and simplistic, but this one's changing. I don't like to repeat myself or copy from myself, but I think that idea might work well on the other digitizer as well. So let's try it out. So again, the same thing that's triggering here. It doesn't matter what weirdness we did here. All that matters is the one that opens the gate. And I actually learned this from a recent Modular cast. I just take this one and use it to trigger this, and that means I only get one value change every time there's a pulse, every time it hits. So the note hits and it changes the value at the same time, so it introduces variety. By keeping these very large, they'll go all the way from their highest rate to their lowest one at different times. That was this guy, the bottom guy, I think. It's actually really neat now. There's those 2 nice tuned, it's just a 2-note chord, a dyad, I guess that's called. A major third. And then we have these 2 noisy, weird sounds. Cool. Well, yeah, we didn't even get to 50% in the processing power, and we could make a lot more, but I think it's already quite busy. Oh, okay, the last thing I'm going to do, and I promise this is the last thing, is I'm going to try and make the notes hit less often. They had to hit kind of often while we made it so we could hear what was going on. So let's take this hit out and this hit out, so there's only one on each. So that's the only time those instruments will play. But these other ones are still hitting pretty often. Oh, so we can hit these 2 buttons down to make the amount of clicks that come out of this fewer, and that should reduce it. So the one guy we didn't reduce was the bass hits, but I don't really have a problem with how frequent or infrequent that is. So now we've got a very, very sparse sort of tone canvas. In fact, there's nothing playing now. Let's listen for a bit. Okay, that actually surprised me because this and this played at the same time. But that's not so surprising because the random generator here also triggers a click in this one. So to make things even more, I guess, untimed or out of time with each other, I'm going to make a different random pulse generator to trigger the bass note, which is here. And I'm going to send it down to almost nothing. This guy was on, let's just read his number. What is he on? 21. So this guy will have like 14, say, or maybe 12. There he goes. Nice, big, warm, friendly bass sound. We tried turning this one down. It might be too high pitched, but what if we take this one up to A5? I'll have to wait a... It doesn't tune quite as well. I'm not sure why. It sounded better before. That's what matters. Neat. That was a good one. Two little weird noises. Yep. Great. Okay. This is the patch. So it's just a very, very minimal now. We're getting like one note at a time and sometimes two at a time. And we got a little major third and we got two weirdos. So yeah, maybe not exactly like Richard Chartier, but he has a pretty wide body of work. I was listening to him this week while I was doing my work, and yeah, I heard something new by him, and I was like, wow, this is actually really different from his work 25 years ago. But then I was like, should I really be surprised at that? Maybe not. But yeah, you can go and listen to his music for yourself. I guess the last thing to do is save the patch in the synth. I don't even know what number we're on, but I could find out. Must be number 10 here. So we'll have to overwrite friendly sign, but that's okay. Doesn't matter. Oh, I haven't even got a name for it, so let's do this first. So I just call this one Chartier. Save it in the synth. I'm going to put it in a different place because I've been building up my dub patches starting at 1 and going up sequentially. And these other ones here are just some random ones that I was using to do some noise generation. So I'm going to put it in slot 25 where I'm more likely to use it. But it still has a number in it as 10, so I know it was the 10th one I made. So, yeah. And that's it for Father Mood today. I've got the setup set up here, and I'm gonna. I took the Boss delay off the table, but then I remembered that the plan or the lesson I had learned from the delay testing podular cast was to. Is anybody sick of the word podular cast yet? It's okay if you are. But yeah, I took that off the table, but I remembered I'm supposed to build the dub patch with the dub echo connected to make it sound good, because you build to your gear, or you adjust your patch to sound good with the setup that you have, or at least that's my theory. But yeah, anyway, hope you've enjoyed it. I'm still doing a stream a day, and this is the 28th of March, so I've been doing it since the first day of the year. I'm going to keep doing it for as long as I possibly can. And hope you like my weird stuff. Just want to say shouts out to HellFO. She's doing some great stuff. Modular, Alien, sorry, that's not his name. Mutant Alien Cyborg, really like his stuff. And the new kid on the block, Noise Tendo, doing some amazing stuff with the happiness from Twisted Electrons. So, yeah, just keep on posting them vids, boys, because that's what it's all about. Hope you all have a great day. Father Moo signing off.